So in this video, we're going to go over how to plot the graph of a function. So let's begin by importing the necessary modules. So what's going to be new here is we need to bring in a plotting library. So the most common one in Python is actually matplotlib. Okay, so now we're going to define an arbitrary function. It doesn't really matter which function we use, but to make things as simple as possible, we'll use the one that we defined in class, which was the demand function. And here it's just going to be a single variable function where it takes in a price and it will return the quantity demanded. So here will be 12 minus price. So with our function now, we want to create an array of inputs. So essentially an array of prices. So we'll define prices as j and p dot linspace. And we'll say, okay, prices should go from 0 to maybe about 15. And we can look at 1,000 of them. So if we want to get the corresponding quantity demanded at these prices, we just have to pass this array through the demand function as follows. So we can say QD is equal to demand of prices. Okay, so now to plot them, it's going to be as simple as just making use of plt.plot. And here we're going to pass in the array that we want to be along the x-axis. So we'll pass in QD, and here we'll pass in the array that we want along the y-axis. So that will be prices. And so if everything's worked, we should get essentially a downward sloping curve. And this downward sloping curve would be the demand curve. So in addition to this curve, I'm going to just add two other things here. So I'll make a title, which I'll actually call prices, and I'll give it location left. So this is really just going to be essentially like a Y label, but it'll be positioned on top of the axes. And I'll also add an X label for quantity. Great. And then the plt.show will essentially make the graph appear. And so here we have prices on the y-axis and quantities on the x-axis. And it might look a little weird that we allow for negative values. So one way we can sort of change this is we can say plt xlim. So this is going to essentially set the range for what's allowed on the x-axis. So we can say xlim 0 to something like 13. And when we run that, we've gotten rid of the negative quantities. Okay, so that's how we can plot the graph of a function.